got a fun guest coming up next. This is a friend of mine named Courtney, and I want to tell y'all real quick how we met. So, back several years ago, I don't know, it was probably 2015, 2016, a friend of mine who's also a sponsor for Drumathon every year, Brandy McComb Photography, let me know about a friend of hers named Courtney Phillips Long, and she had triple negative breast cancer, and she wanted me to meet her so that she would know somebody else who had triple negative. And then separately, I had an old guitar player friend of mine, Jeff Durbin, tell me about his cousin who had triple negative breast cancer. And guess what? It was also Courtney. So these two different sides came around the corner to me, wanted me to chat with Courtney, and there we met, and now we've formed this friendship. Hey, Courtney, what's up, girl? How are you?
Hey, how you doing,
I'm
April?
awesome, dude. Yes, it's been so cool. And this is actually your seventh appearance on the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Day broadcast.
Yeah, earlier I posted that it was my sixth, and then I was like, wait a minute, chemo brain. I think it's seventh.
It's totally
So
seven, yeah.
yeah, I was like, whoa. I mean, in some ways it feels like a lifetime ago, and then in other ways it just feels like yesterday. So it's really weird that it's 7 years, honestly. Just feels like we've been doing this, I
I
don't
know.
know,
I
just a
know.
couple of
It's crazy, dude. Well, and we were doing it before Facebook Live was even a thing, so it's crazy. But
yeah.
what's interesting is like, you were diagnosed, was it 2015?
Yeah, I was diagnosed like kind of at the end of 2015.
Mhm.
So it was September of 2015 is when I was diagnosed. It was the day before well, I don't want to say what birthday it was now. But it was actually the day before my 36th birthday, I
Yeah.
believe. So yeah. And that was 2015. And I did chemo all the way. It was like I had like 6 months of chemo. So it was, I didn't stop chemo until I think about like October or something. Or no, maybe what am I talking about? See, chemo brain again. So yeah, so about 6 months after that. So I don't know what month that was, but 2016 is when I actually stopped chemo.
Gotcha. And so I'm just
So,
curious, was I like one of the first people that you met that had triple negative breast cancer?
no. It was interesting enough. One of my really good friends were all actually a lot of us have a ton of friends that were all like in the beauty industry, do makeup and hair together. And my good friend Jennifer had been diagnosed literally like a month prior to me. Now she didn't have triple negative, but she had a best friend who at the time I believe was only like 23, and she was diagnosed as well. So the three of us all got diagnosed, I think within like a 3 month period of each other. And so I actually knew about triple negative before I was diagnosed with it. And so when I was diagnosed with it, I was totally freaked out because I knew, that triple negative, how aggressive it was, so I did know a little bit about it. And yeah, I was totally scared,
Yeah.
but
What?
I think,
Sorry
I
about
think
that.
you were like the second person. Yeah, you were like the second person that I knew, after that, like I personally knew.
Yeah.
But yeah, my friend Melanie, yeah.
Right.
So, and she's doing fantastic, doing
That's
really
great.
good.
That's awesome. So what
Yeah.
how did you end up finding that you had triple negative breast cancer in the first place?
I had a lump in 2014. I found the lump. It was about the size of a pea. I went to the doctor, said, hey, there's breast cancer in my family. My mamaw had breast cancer. She was like a 50 something year survivor at that time. And I was like, I just feel like this is something, so I'm going to go get it checked out. Went to the doctor. They told me it was nothing. I, had a mammogram done. The radiologist came in and I said, well, I know you're saying that it's nothing, but can we please just biopsy this? Because I feel like it's something. And they were like, there's nothing to biopsy. Like it's just, you have fibrocystic breasts, you're fine. If anything changes, let us know. And they sent me on my way and made an appointment for a year later. I went back to my, OBGYN, the doctor that had, been through childbirth with me and everything. And I told her, I was like, I just don't feel good about this. I feel like it's something. And, I mean, I tried to advocate for myself and push, but I really trusted them, they're doctors and I trusted them. But I don't feel like that nobody was really listening to me, and I think that if I had pushed maybe harder, maybe I would have found out then, but everything's in God's timing and his way. So a year later, 2015, it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was in, oh gosh, I think the end of, no, it was 1st of September, 2015. It was like, it just grew massively, like overnight. And I was like, this just isn't right. Like something's not right. And I called my PCP because I didn't feel like anybody was hearing me from, my OBGYN. And he said, you need to get in here tomorrow, and so he examined me and he immediately sent me for, a mammogram, and they're doing the mammogram and, they give you the look. It's like a certain look.
Yeah, it's like
and I knew
they should be training on this look, by the way. Like you just,
I know.
They need to work on their poker face or something.
Yeah, their poker face is not good at all. So, yeah, funny story though. I'm like right before going into the room with the radiologist, I had to go to the bathroom and I went into the restroom and the radiologist walked in on me and it was a male. And so him and I like kind of giggled or whatever. And he was like totally embarrassed. And the reason I bring this up is because later on I'm in the room and he's like, hey, we need to biopsy this and we're going to do it tomorrow. And I was like, no, you're not, you're doing it today. And he's like, well, I can't do it today. And I said, well, tomorrow's my birthday and I'm not coming here and being told that I have cancer tomorrow on my birthday. I'm just not. And I was like, and you walked in on the bathroom on me, so you're doing it today. And he was like, yes, ma'am, I'm gonna do it. So he did it right then and there. And he tagged it. I say, they tag it with like titanium or whatever. And that's when I knew for sure. I was like, okay, they're tagging me. I've got cancer, and I sat on pins and needles for 2 days waiting on those results to come in. And I can't believe I'm getting emotional. I said I wasn't gonna cry.
You're okay, dude.
I can't believe after 7 years I'm still doing this, but
well, you're putting yourself there. It's okay.
Yeah, it was very, very scary. I mean, when you're diagnosed with cancer, I mean, you think that's it. And I had a 4-year-old and my dad had just been diagnosed with cancer as well. And so it was just really hard. But him and I got to kind of go through it together. And we actually even had chemo dates together. So
what are the chances of that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, I was in a clinical trial. So they found out that I was BRCA1 positive because you had to have that test done to be able to be in the clinical trial. So they found out I was BRCA1 positive, which helped my father, because then they found out that he was the one who had the gene and he was able to get medication and chemos that he wouldn't have, because we found out. So, God works in mysterious ways for sure. And, we just lost my dad a year ago, so it's just very fresh still. But yeah, I mean, I feel like God saved me and put me through that trial so I would have my dad a little bit longer, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And
yeah.
so that was my purpose for sure with cancer, I think. So
yeah.
And plus, I mean, the medication was definitely it's out there now and it's saving tons of lives. It's an oral medication. I wasn't obviously just on oral. I was on, like the normal regimen that they do. It was like, I don't know what they do now, but things change so much all the time. But it was Taxol, carboplatinum, Taxol, and, the Red Devil. And then the study drug as well, which was called veliparib at the time, which is a PARP inhibitor. which I don't know. I know you and I have talked about this before, but for anybody else that doesn't know what PARP is a protein that's in our body, and everybody's body produces it, but cancer loves it. So if they can inhibit it, and it can stop cancer from growing. So it's really an incredible drug, and I do think that it got on a fast track, and it's responded very, very well to triple negative. And I know triple negative in itself just responds really, really well to chemo, and that we don't really have a lot of other things, like other breast cancers and stuff like that. They have drugs that they can take, but for triple negative, we don't really have that.
Yeah, we don't.
And
triple negative breast cancer doesn't respond to hormone therapy. So yeah, like you
right.
can't take.
So there's nothing
tamoxifen and stuff like that
to like block stuff.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing we can take to block anything. I know there's I've been told like vitamin D is good. I was told at one time that metformin, which is a diabetic drug, could help the reoccurrence of triple negative. I don't know if you ever heard that before, but
what's it called again?
Point. So metformin, it's like a diabetic drug. So you should talk to the doctor about that and see what she thinks, or what Dr. O.
I am totally writing it down right now. I'm absolutely gonna ask her.
Yeah,
totally.
Because I would love to know if it really, because I'm sure there's been more studies done on it now, but yeah, I was told right after going through treatment and stuff, from my oncologist, and then my PCP as well told me. So, that medication can kind of be rough on the stomach. So I actually stopped taking it because it was really killing my stomach. But I would definitely go back and take it again if I knew for sure.
No doubt. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm doing great. I haven't had any reoccurrence. I had a full mastectomy. I had, 6 months of chemo, and the study drug and everything. So, I'm doing great, that way. I haven't had, when you first, I think like the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 years after, I was scared all the time. Every little bump you feel, every little anything that's off in your body, you think it's cancer, and that's just normal. I feel like going through anything like that, it's very traumatic. And I think we probably all have post-traumatic stress to an extent, from it. But yeah, I'm doing really good as far as no reoccurrence, and I'm 7 years in.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah, that is totally awesome. And you're so right. It's like, as a breast cancer survivor, especially triple negative breast cancer, you're very worried anytime anything's out of whack. Well, maybe you're tired more than normal, or your head hurts, or anything. And it's just like right there in the forefront. And eventually I feel like it does kind of dissipate a little bit, and it's not as common to be thinking about it. But yeah, you could definitely make yourself crazy with worry. So any of those times that you had anything like that happen, did you like run down any rabbit trails? I know me personally, I did.
Oh yeah. You sit there and you just think like, okay, this is it. It's done now. I'm done. It's over. Like, and it's like calling the doctor and saying, okay, I need to come in like right now, and you need to do my blood work, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And they're like, it's okay. You're fine. It's nothing. I think that first year, after chemo and everything, I went to the doctor nonstop because I was just worried all the time, but then it does get better. It gets better. And, you kind of like, I always tell people, like, there's the me before cancer, there's the me during cancer, and then there's the me after cancer. And I think that now that I'm 7 years out, I'm a good balance of all of those people now, so I can still be the fun, crazy me that I was before cancer, but I can still be that, very focused and, Christ-centered person that I was during chemo and all of that. And then now the after cancer me, which I don't know if that's fun or not, but I can be all,
I think you're fun
people in one now.
You're fun.
Well,
Don't worry, you're fun.
well, you don't want to ask certain people that, but
Yeah,
but yeah, well, talking about like when you go through uh menopause, at a young age, and you have to deal with all that, and that's a whole nother story. So that's the after cancer me.
that's so funny.
So
I just thought of something
yeah.
because we're talking about who you are before and after, and one of the things I'd love to plug your company, Cairo. You still are doing
Oh
all
yeah.
that, right?
Yeah, so I am, but not as much, but
Right.
it's very intentional because I just needed my life to be just more about my daughter and just calmer, and we were going through so much with my dad during the pandemic, and he did pass away from cancer. He had colon cancer, and he was BRCA1 positive as well. But he passed away at the end of 20 was oh gosh, it was December 31st, 2020. So it's been a little over a year now, and it's just been really hard. But I just wanted to, like, I'm helping my mom out more, and it just, I was getting really burnt out. I was doing like a ton of weddings, and I love doing weddings, but I kind of was, getting a little burnt out. And so I'm still doing it, of course, but I have made my mind up that I'm only taking like one wedding a month. So I'm being real picky and choosy about it. But it feels good. I like being able to be picky and choosy about it because I can spend more time with
No,
my loved ones,
I think
and I
that's
think
good.
that's so important.
I
So
I bet that going through breast cancer helped you gain perspective. Even if it wasn't
oh
immediate, but looking
yes.
at this whole situation with your daughter, and you're like, oh, I want to spend more time with her. It probably helped you gain perspective and kind of make those changes to be more in the moments of different things
Yeah.
than you were before. So that's really cool. But I had to plug
Oh
you
gosh, yes.
because
Yeah, no, yeah, Kyra makeup and hair. If you need any
yeah.
hair and makeup,
Well,
I'm your
because
girl.
Courtney did my hair and makeup for my wedding, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, you rock. I want to go back to a
Yeah.
point that you brought up earlier, Courtney, that I think is important, especially one of our volunteers watching right now is a breast cancer survivor as well. And when you spoke about the beginning of finding that you had breast cancer, you were an advocate for your own health. You were really fighting and pushing to get to the bottom of the situation. And had you not done that, it's possible that it might not have been caught at the time that it was. So I think it's really important to point out to folks
Yeah.
out there that you should be your own advocate when it comes to your health. It's okay if you chase down something and it ends up being nothing. It's better that happens than if you didn't chase it down and it was something. So it's always important to be more proactive, to catch everything at the earliest stage, because undoubtedly the time in which you caught your triple negative breast cancer was very important to your future and you still being here today. No doubt, right?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And it was really crazy because the size of my tumor, if it had been, okay, so it was on the inside here, right? If it had been here, it would have been all in my lymph nodes. They told me, they said the position that it was in and the size, they couldn't believe it wasn't in my lymph nodes. So I was really, really lucky in that. But I think that if I hadn't have advocated, like you're saying, and gone back when I did, it could have been a lot worse of an outcome for me. Um, and luckily, because it wasn't in the lymph nodes, I did not have to have radiation. I just had the chemo, and it's interesting because I did chemo, and then you kind of go on a break. Like I had the city drug along with Taxol and carboplatin, and that made me it made me lose my hair completely. And then I had shaved. You kind of get like this. It was like little, reminds me of like a little baby duck. Your hair like starts growing back and stuff. But I went through this little phase where it was like coming back, and then I went back, and it was weird because I'm a redhead naturally, like strawberry blonde, and my hair came back like jet black. It was crazy. So it was like jet black, and it was coming in this little fuzz of jet black. And then I went and had the red devil. So I had this break in between and then went and had the red devil, and then it all fell out again. And then it came back my real color again. But I thought that was so weird.
That is crazy. And everybody who, when their hair comes back, it comes back like different. But I hadn't heard it coming back as like a different color. That's nuts, man.
Well, it was weird because it was like the in-between phase. So I had been on this one specific, chemo regimen.
Right.
And then it's growing back, and then I went back to have more chemo and come back my natural color. But it was just weird.
Oh, hang on one second. We have an audio issue. Let me hear you again. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. You're robotic. You're like Mr. Roboto. That helps. Hey, Courtney, why don't I'm going to drop you and let you join back in just a second.
Okay.
So go ahead and drop and rejoin the meeting there. You can go ahead and drop and rejoin, and then I'll add you back here in just a second. We're going to get Courtney back with her sound properly. And I want to let you guys know that, Marsha, I did see your comment. And I'm going to bring that up to Courtney just as soon as I can here. We're going to get her back on the line and hopefully fix her audio. She went all Mr. Roboto on us there. But an incredible story from Courtney Phillips, long triple-negative breast cancer survivor. Her 7th time being on the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Day broadcast. Today is Triple Negative Breast Cancer Day, people. If you're just joining, be sure to share out this broadcast. And again, I want to remind you guys, we're always raising funds. Every year we do this broadcast. If you go to breastcancercouldstickit.org/TNBC. In fact, I'm going to share that with you in just a second here. Let me just do a couple of things. Hang on just a second. Let me show you that. And Courtney's coming back up. She's working on it over there. And Courtney, you let me know when you're ready to speak. Let me hear you talk, Courtney. Yep, that's so much better. Hang tight real quick, Courtney. I'm going to show everybody something. So guys, this is where you can go. You can go to breastcancercouldstickit.org, and then you're going to put TNBC on the end here. And that's going to redirect you to this page right here. And we are raising funds tonight for triple-negative breast cancer research and trials. We're at $50 here today. We have a lofty goal. We always try to pick a $3,000 goal. We feel that 300 is a little too low, so we just go ahead and pick that $3,000 goal. So spread the word, and please consider making a donation to triple-negative breast cancer research and trials as we raise funds again for triple-negative breast cancer. And I've got you back now, Courtney. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello. You sound so much better now. So I think we were talking about being an advocate in your own health and everything like that, and how important that was to where you are today. And
yeah, absolutely. And now I feel like, because I know so much about my own health and being, BRCA1 positive, I have a daughter, so I can just be so proactive for her, now. So I think, knowledge is power. And the more that we know about, all these different research trials and just learning about, cancer and what it does to our bodies and what it can do to our future generations, I think that it's just so important to keep yourself up to date on all those types of things, and be proactive for your children too, and their children, because we can stop this. We really can stop it in its tracks. We just have to know what to do to stop it,
Yeah, so true.
And I just think that's so important. So.
Well, and I don't know if you heard Angela. She was on earlier, our first guest of the night, triple-negative breast cancer survivor, Angela. And she also did a trial, which we all know anybody who does those trials is helping the future of breast cancer and fighting breast cancer, especially as it relates to triple-negative breast cancer, more rare, more aggressive, more likely to recur form of breast cancer that we really want everybody to be aware of. But definitely donating and helping raise funds for research and trials is a big, big deal for triple-negative breast cancer. They have made a lot of advances in fighting TNBC. We're going to hear the latest from Dr. O later today. But Courtney, you were a part of that, man, by being a part of the trial. You helped our sisters and brothers who might have triple-negative breast cancer in the future,
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer for me when they asked me to do it, because I was like, if this is going to help other people, I want to absolutely be a part of it, and it was hard. Let me tell you, it was rough. It was really, really rough. I had some times where I really didn't know if I was going to make it through, because I was just so sick. But it was worth it to be able to, you know, to help others. It really, really was. And I do think that that's my purpose in life. I think that it helped my dad, and I know that it's helped many, many, many women. And I know that the drug did get approved, and it saved a lot of lives. So I would do it 100 times over if I had to.
So cool. You're such a great advocate. Proud to know you and everything. I mean, dude, it's so awesome.
Well, I'm proud to know you.
Dude, no, me. We kind of skimmed over your mastectomy. To a lot of women, that's a really big deal. How was that for you?
Gosh, it's been an ongoing thing, honestly, because you just don't feel like yourself again. And I've tried so much, and I've had so many different surgeries to try to get my breast back the way they were. And it's just not the same. It's just, it's not the same as of going and getting just a regular augmentation done. It's just not. There's a lot of things that go into it. I have a lot of back pain because of my breast implants. And it's because, they literally have to go, well, depending on your size, but they can't give you just a normal size breast implant. I mean, they have to go up in size when they do the breast implant, because you don't have any tissue in there anymore. So they have to fill up where tissue was, right? So it's not like, okay, you've got tissue and they're going to put a little cushion underneath it of another breast implant, and it's going to be not heavy, and everything that's going to feel great. No, it's like my implants are super, super heavy. They kill my back. I've had them swapped out already once in 7 years. And that was probably, I think 3 years in, I had them swapped out, maybe even 2 years in, because they were just so, so heavy. And so I went down a size and had him do like a lift and, take some extra skin off and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've been through it with it. And some days I'm like, oh, why did I even do it? Like some days I feel like I wish I just would have gone flat, just because I am in pain from it a lot. But I'm still like, for me to feel feminine, for me, I mean, everybody's different, but me personally, having breasts just still makes me feel very feminine, and that's just me, but definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad you say it, because it's so funny, because people who are flat or people who did reconstruction, we're all very respectful of each other's decisions, because it is a personal decision, and
Yeah,
what's right
absolutely.
for you may not be right for me, and vice versa. And so it's not a big deal,
Absolutely.
and we totally respect each other for that, because it's got to be your thing. You're the one who has to live with it. So I
Yeah.
was going to ask you if you thought about it or your feelings about it, and I'm glad you answered, because it's important. Everybody needs to
Yeah.
understand that
I
everybody
mean,
does have different feelings about it.
yeah, everybody has different feelings about it. And I mean, when you're going through breast cancer, especially, there's just this, I don't know, it's this tribe, and everybody is just so wonderful to each other. And I wish that the rest of the world could be like that all the time, because it really is incredible. It makes me tear up, because it really, really is incredible. When I was going through it, I just had so many amazing women, in my life, and I've lost a lot of them and seen them, pass throughout the years, but it's been just an incredible journey. And I'm so glad that I was able to be, part of it, and a part of something that people really stood up for each other and really respect each other and stand beside each other. And it doesn't matter, where you come from or what color your skin is or anything. We're all in the same boat. And, like you said, just that respect factor. Like, you want to go flat, girl, I get you. I get how you're feeling on that. I want to have boobs because it makes me feel feminine, so we each just, I don't know. It's just, it's been an incredible journey, and it continues to be an incredible journey.
Yeah.
Even though it's the scariest thing in your life, it still is. I don't know how to explain it really.
Well, I mean, breast cancer survivors, we all just really stick together. We lift each other up. We encourage one another. I see it every day in all the many Facebook groups. I know you're part of Survivors Rock, a breast cancer ticket community, which is our own Facebook group for survivors. Anybody out there wants to join, please do. And everybody is always just so supportive. And speaking of breast cancer survivors, I wanted to mention that Marcia, who's watching the program right now, she wanted to let you know that her story is similar to yours, and that her mammography letter came in the mail and read no signs of cancer, but the biopsy was ordered the same week, and the results came back positive for breast cancer. So yes, follow up and get second opinions, and early detection is the key.
Push for that biopsy. Push for the biopsy.
Yeah. And like we said, is if you feel like something's not right, and like I said, another breast cancer survivor volunteers watching the show, same thing. Push for that. If you're not feeling something is right, then push. If that doctor's not willing to take it all the way, like you feel comfortable, then go to a different doctor. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Yeah, and one thing that I wish that, they have, like insurance and stuff like that. They cover, like mammograms and things like that. But I really wish that they would, cover an MRI as part of like your, annual well checks, because for women, like a lot of times the mammograms just don't show. They just don't show what's really going on. But that MRI will, and that was kind of like my case. Like, I had to go. I mean, I don't know about you, April, but did you have to have an MRI done as well? Or was it just mammogram?
No, actually, for me, I was having ultrasounds every 6 months because I had fibrocystic breasts, and that's what my doctor ordered for me before I got diagnosed. Okay. And so mine was found during an ultrasound, and then they did a mammogram afterwards. So I think they did an ultrasound, a mammogram, and then they did the biopsy, or it's possible that the mammogram was done after the biopsy to check and see where the mark was, because they mark anytime you mentioned it earlier, but anytime they tag anything that they check is just so that they know, hey, that's the one we biopsied before, whether it's benign or malignant, doesn't matter. They're going to tag it so that they can find where that was. And actually, I didn't know this. I'm going off on a rant.
Go for it.
Here. But like years later, when I actually had broke a rib, like up high, I was lifting something and I broke a rib like way up high, like first or second rib. So it was like, I'm talking like, way up in here, right? And so when they did like the x-ray, they were like, yeah, and here are all the markers from your lymph nodes. I was like, what? I had no idea. So I have all this like, little metal, whatever, titanium or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're like
markers.
titanium.
Yeah, where they took out lymph nodes, which I knew they took out lymph nodes, but I didn't know that they tagged me all in there. I had no idea. And it was like literally like 6 or 7 years later that I realized that I had that.
Wow.
All right, I'm realizing that we're going a little bit over, so I'm sorry to cut you short. But the last thing I want to ask you real quick, because I want to ask everybody this, and you've really answered it, but just kind of paraphrase in your own mind, what's the best thing that has come from having triple negative breast cancer for you?
The best thing from having triple negative breast cancer, just, my faith grew so intensely, through just everything. And really just like we were talking about, just having that tribe, and being able to see just so much good in people, during breast cancer, and even after breast cancer. So, I think that's really, what it's brought for me is just peace and knowing that there's really a lot of good in this world still, and people that really stick together and by each other. So,
amen. That's awesome, Courtney. I can't believe it's been 7 times now, and I hope you'll come back next year for an 8th. We'll keep dragging you everywhere we go.
What do they do for my 10th anniversary.
I
mean,
know, dude. We need to do something big, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe is it possible to do fireworks in the background over there, or maybe over here?
Yeah, we can do that. I know
It's
a
all
pyro
good.
guy, I think.
Great. All right, girl. Well, I hope you'll stick around and watch the show. And if you have any questions for Dr. O'Shaughnessy, be sure and pop them in the comments after you leave tonight. Watch the show and let us know if you have anything for her, and we'll be sure and ask that. And I can't wait to do this again next year, okay?
I know, me too. It's always such a pleasure. I love you so much.
I love you too, girl. Have a great night.
You too.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, everybody, give it up for Courtney in the house, rock star, triple negative breast cancer survivor, her 7th time on this show. And you guys, we are all looking forward